Prime Minister Modi rained fire on the opposition in his reply to the motion of thanks on the president's address. PM Modi tore into Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party. Taking a swipe, the Prime Minister said that those who do a photo op in the huts of poor will find talk about poor in Parliament boring. This was an apparent reference to the Congress leaders calling of the president's address as boring. The Prime Minister also responded to Rahul's caste attack, saying that it has become a fashion for some to speak of caste, while underlining that it was his government that gave constitutional status to OBC Commission. In a direct attack on Gandhis, the Prime Minister asked, have there ever been 3 MPs simultaneously from the same family belonging to an SC or ST community? In another day, the Prime Minister said that those who carry constitution in their pockets have made Muslim women live without dignity, while his government ended triple talaq. Training guns at AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal, the Prime Minister has said that while some focused on living Sheesh Mahal lifestyle, his government worked for the poor.
जो लोग गरीबों की झोंपड़ियों में फोटो सेशन कराकर अपना मनोरंजन करते रहते हैं, उन्हें संसद में गरीबों की बात बोरिंग ही लगेगी। जाति की बातें करना कुछ लोगों के लिए फैशन बन गई है। पिछले 30 साल से सदन में आने वाले ओबीसी समाज के सांसद 30-35 साल से मांग कर रहे थे कि ओबीसी कमीशन को संवैधानिक दर्जा दिया जाए। जिन लोगों को आज जातिवाद में मलाई दिखती है, उनको उस समय ओबीसी समाज की याद नहीं आई कि हम हैं जिन्होंने ओबीसी समाज को संवैधानिक दर्जा दिया। जो लोग संविधान को जेब में लेकर के जीते हैं, उनको पता नहीं है कि आपने मुस्लिम महिलाओं को कैसी मुसीबतों में जीने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। हमने ट्रिपल तलाक का खात्मा कर करके मुस्लिम बेटियों को हक देने का काम किया है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, हमने ये जो अलग अलग कदम उठाए, उससे लाखों करोड़ रुपए की बचत हुई, लेकिन उन पैसों का उपयोग हमने शीश महल बनाने के लिए नहीं किया। इसका उपयोग हमने देश बनाने के लिए किया है।
मुझे लग रहा है कि वो कट चुके हैं जनता से और जनता की जो जरूरतें हैं उनसे।
If people are in parliament, it's because they've been elected to be there. 2 of them are in the Lok Sabha. One has been in the Lok Sabha many times and is now in the Rajya Sabha, which means that there is a popular demand for their services, for their seva to the nation. I think that that should not be held against them. The public can choose who they want to represent.
आप खिलौनों की बात कर रहे हैं, नौजवानों की नौकरी रोजगार की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं। आज नौजवान को सबसे ज्यादा रोजगार की जरूरत है, नौकरी की जरूरत है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
For more on this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us is Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP. With us is JVC Sriram, political commentator. Kamruzaman Chowdhury, political analyst, is joining us. We also have Faizan Kidwai, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Advocate Anmol Pawar is the national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Let me start with you first and foremost. Kamruzaman Chowdhury, scathing attack that the Prime Minister launched on Rahul Gandhi, saying that only those who go for photo ops with the poor will find the statements of the poor boring. Also questioning what is the need to attack the president in this manner that Rahul Gandhi has done. Kamruzaman Chowdhury.
Yeah, Madhav, good evening. First and foremost, you must understand what I am fearing the worst, and most of my countrymen will resonate with me, is our Honorable Prime Minister is suffering from a compulsive, obsession, disorder with the Congress party and the Gandhi family. Rather, this is becoming very much monotonous now, that every time the Congress raises some points of issue that the country is facing, the Prime Minister comes on the floor of the Parliament and he continuously goes on criticizing the Congress party, the Nehru Parivar, Gandhi Parivar and whatnot. But he will never utter a single word on the issues that Rahul Gandhi raised the other day.
Mr. Chaudhary, one second. What does Rahul Gandhi do all day? He is also critical of the government and Mr. Modi. What is, I mean, this is how debates happen. Unfortunately, this is how politics works. Madhav, we had raised very important questions that are affecting the public, and the Prime Minister was expected to essay our fears on those topics. But what was this? It was an election speech as Delhi was going to the polls tomorrow. He could have better timed his speech. As a statesman that Nehru was, I believe he is not even a 1% of the Nehru statesmanship that is your point of view. He has actually referred to what happened,
so
and in fact
not compare his governance, his style of functioning with what Congress party
our
has done.
questions were not answered. This is an election speech time at the Delhi elections, and of course you can't compare Nehru and Modi, says Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Respond to that. Tu Insina.
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. You know, the sheer duplicity and non-performance of Congress party and Congress leaders across the last few decades had to be called out. And I'm glad the Prime Minister has done it in great style and with a lot of, fluency. Way back in 1985-86, Rajiv Gandhi, who would always talk about India's, foray into the 21st century, had no solution to the dilemma that जब हम ₹1 खर्च करते हैं तो सिर्फ 15 पैसे लोगों के हाथ में पहुंचती है. Today, in the last 10 years, we have put 44 lakh crore into the hands of the poor through our DBT, through our digital public infrastructure based on the JAM Trinity. Now, Rahul Gandhi, of course, has gone to another level, and his urban Naxal tendencies need to be called out, because at no point in India's history has an opposition leader been so brazen about, fighting Bharat Mata. He has been so brazen about fighting the Indian state. He says, हमारी लड़ाई एक शक्ति के खिलाफ है, हिंदू धर्म में एक शक्ति है, हमारी लड़ाई उस शक्ति के खिलाफ है. This kind of an urban Naxal mindset had to be called out at a time when India is progressing, when the world is progressing. The US has invented ChatGPT. China has come up with DeepSeek. Rahul Gandhi seems to be obsessed with caste GDP. And even yesterday, he was obsessed with, stoking caste divisions in the country. So I think, all of these things need to be called out, and Prime Minister has done it brilliantly.
Let me bring in fact, Faizan on that note. Faizan, in fact, the Prime Minister has said that it's become a fashion for some to speak. And in fact, on the issue of caste, he also goes on to say that it was this government that gave an OBC commission, constitutional status, a tribal ministry being formed under this government, questioning, therefore, the commitment of past governments, including that of the Congress party. How do you respond to that, Faizan?
See, what is the plight of OBCs and Dalits under the Modi-Yogi regime? We all know. Madhav, the Yogi Adityanath is constantly diluting the reservations for the Dalit community. In 2018, there was a case, Ram Bridge versus the state of Uttar Pradesh, where the Allahabad High Court said that there are discrepancies in reservation roster. And they directed the Yogi Adityanath government to rectify it, because this is hampering the growth of the OBCs and Dalits, because they are not getting the reservation which is their legitimate right. So we know what is the situation of Dalits and OBCs under BJP rule. And there's an ADR report which says that 25% of total atrocities that happen on Dalits happen in Uttar Pradesh. So rather than giving sermons, Mr. Adityanath and the Honorable Prime Minister should focus into doing course correction where the government has...
What is the policy change in your view? What has happened at the level of policy where the government has differed from past, according to you?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What is the change at the level of policy as far as this government is concerned?
Madhav, the policies of this government are anti-poor, anti-Dalit. They are focusing only to please a certain strata of the society, the so-called rich, the elite, because in return they get benefits from them. They don't want to give jobs to the poor, but they hardly have any jobs.
Was this an assembly notified policy that Faizan is talking about? What exactly is the change that we are seeing on ground?
See, I would like to tell the viewers that if there is one government which had actually worked and is working for the poor, it is Shri Narendra Modi's government. Because when you look at the number of houses that has been built, the number of toilets that had been built, and the Ayushman health card, one of the world's, the world's largest health insurance scheme, and that too for senior citizens free of cost, and all those things, and Jal Jeevan. See, water is the basic commodity required. By 2019, August 15th, India's rural household had just 15% of tap water connection. Today, you have 79.8% rural India has got tap water connection. And which are the states which are lagging behind? West Bengal. Then you have Kerala. These are the states which are lagging behind. Rest of the states are marching ahead with 100%. And I would like to ask Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and I would like to ask the supporters of Congress party, every time, every day in and day out, he wakes up with caste census, he goes to sleep with caste census, but how many, in the leader of opposition, he could have given that position to an SC or an ST or an OBC. In Telangana, they have an OBC, caste census done. It has always been 50% of Telangana has been above OBC, but today it is only 46%. And you have just 2 ministers. You have just 2 ministers in the cabinet belonging to OBC.
Okay,
Chief Minister is from a minority, Reddy community, upper caste. Congress party has always given chief ministership to the Reddy community, and one scheduled caste, Anjaya, was insulted by Rajiv Gandhi.
Okay.
And this is the caste census they are talking about.
Okay.
Caste is just a tool for vote bank politics for Congress party.
Kamruddin Chaudhary, respond to that. You should practice what you preach, particularly in a state like Telangana. We have conducted the caste census. Why not implement what you are stating? Respond to JVC.
Of course, we are on the process of implementing it. Don't worry about that. Telangana, Karnataka, all are going to implement the policies that are being framed on the basis of the caste census that we conducted. But one simple point that I want to raise out here, you brought in the UWS reservation for the upper castes. You brought in the lateral entry scheme into the government scheme.
Simple question JVC has asked you.
What is
because
the exact
Mr. Revanth Reddy does not represent the OBC community, and he is saying that he represents a community which is a minority, upper caste. Why not better represent as far as the face of the state is concerned?
No, Madhav, we have got our own AICC president as an OBC. Mr. Kharge ji is an OBC. There are plenty of leaders in the Congress ranks who are ABC, SC, ST. They are coming up. But we are not going in for symbolic representation.
Mr. Chaudhary, I think you got it pretty wrong.
Get into
Does he belong to the OBC community or the Dalit community, Mr. Chaudhary?
He belongs to the Dalit community.
So why did you say he's an OBC then?
No, what do you mean by that? Dalit are not downtrodden community in the India right now. Don't they need hand-holding by the upper caste? Don't they need the hand-holding by the...
I can't believe we are, discussing the basic definition of which community is how backward, and all these things that have been discussed, from the days of Mandal Commission and onwards. Would you like to just educate him, Mr. JVC Sriram, in terms of difference between what denotes SC, ST, OBC, ABC, EBC?
What we are talking about is 50% of the Telangana, or for that matter, most of the states belong to the OBC community. Now, that being the case, when you do a caste census, you say, no, as many caste, as much as numbers, so much is a benefit. So if numerically OBC are the highest, then make an OBC chief minister, make an OBC leader of opposition. Mr. Narendra Modi belongs to the OBC, in fact, extremely backward class community. He has been ruling this country for the last 10 years. Can you name one prime minister who comes from the OBC community in the Congress party? Zero. Nobody had come. Then you don't have any business to talk about OBC. You don't have any business to talk about it.
The point that the OBC community in Telangana, or for that matter, all of India is more than any other community. Does that absolve the BJP of appointing a Dalit or an OBC or a SC, ST as its own prime minister? No, we are not for symbolic appointment.
That's the point he's making.
We have asked the question, what about the...
I'm not understanding your question. He is saying exactly that. There is already an OBC as prime minister. Why doesn't Congress also walk the talk? That's the point he's making.
That's what I'm telling. We are not going into the symbolic appointments. What is the symbolic appointment? You appoint our president.
Then why does Rahul say that of all the 80 secretaries to the government of India, the central government level, there is not a single OBC?
And say that, look, we have got a Dalit as our chief minister,
No, but then why does Rahul say that there are no OBCs in the bureaucracy there?
When you have allowed lateral entry, no, yes. What is the percentage of the Dalit community in the total what you call this?
That's the whole point. When you're talking representation, you should want to talk of representation. That's the whole point I'm making.
I am talking about the representation. But it does not matter that you go into a
So Kamruzaman Chaudhary, are you going to say that you are going to change the creamy layer?
Central government appointments.
Will you alter the creamy layer concept altogether?
No, there is an OBC A, OBC B in most of the states based on the creamy layer. But why bring in the EWS without adding up the seats? You have not added a single seat in the medical colleges, engineering colleges, or in the services. Why did you bring the EWS? And
Sir, let me just read out what the Prime Minister has said today. I don't think you heard his speech. It was almost 2 hours. Perhaps you could not pay attention, like Mr. Rahul Gandhi did not pay attention to the President's speech, but let me just read out what he said. He said that medical colleges have increased, seats have also increased. It's a very important aspect. In 2014, our country, the number of SC students, the seats reserved for them was 7,700. We worked for 10 years, the numbers increased. Now, 17,000 MBBS doctors are there. Before 2014, seats for ST students were 3,000. Today, the number has increased to 9,000. Today, seats for OBC community is 32,000. In the last 10 years, every week a new university has been set up. Every day, a new ITI has been set up. He goes on and on. So I hope you got your answer, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary.
No, Madhav, my question, very important question. Madhav, just get me 10 more seconds. The point was when the Prime Minister, when the government filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court, it said we'll add up 10% seats at EWS. When there are 100 seats in the medical college, there are supposed to be 10 more added. The added seats that the Prime Minister was talking about was about the infrastructure. Because of infrastructure, the seats were added.
Okay. Tuin wants to quickly come in. Quick response from Tuin, then I go across to Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. Tuin, very quickly.
They have cheated the people of the country.
The point is, Madhav, Madhav, the point is these people are living in darkness and they refuse to come out of darkness. Today, the total number of medical seats has gone up exponentially because there were seven aims at the time when we came to power. Today, there are more than 23. There are 300 new medical colleges. For the first time, OBC reservation has been extended to the medical examinations. How can Rahul Gandhi be in denial of them? But look at the notoriety of Rahul Gandhi. When he was supporting the government in Bihar, along with Lalu Yadav's son, they had conducted a caste survey. Now he calls that entire caste survey fake. For the last 1.5 years, I've been hearing that they will be doing a caste survey in Telangana. They were supposedly, they have already done it in Karnataka. They don't have the guts to make it public. They had also done it in Chhattisgarh when they were in government. They didn't have the courage to make it public. So for Rahul Gandhi, caste survey is a farcical exercise.
Let me bring in Anmol Pawar now. He's been waiting patiently. Anmol Pawar, I'm just coming in to there's just a few minutes left on this debate. I have to bring in the Aam Aadmi Party. One of the important points that the Prime Minister spoke about, and I'm quoting from the speech, Anmol. He says the focus of some leaders is on jacuzzis at home, stylish showers. Our focus is for providing water and tap water in every household, which is Har Nal Mein Jal. Till now, poor have been given 4 crore houses. Those who've lived difficult lives only will understand what is the value of getting a house. Women in past have had problem due to lack of toilet systems, and he says around 11 crore toilets that have been filled in. So the difference in priorities, and I can only assume that although he didn't take the name of Kejriwal, that he's referring to him when he says that focus of some leaders is for stylish jacuzzis and showers at home. Mr. Pawar.
Good evening, Madhav Ji. Madhav Ji, today Modi Ji used the platform of Parliament as for his campaign. You can imagine the extent of his desperation because he knows that the 25,000 benefits to every family in Delhi, which is being provided by Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal, is winning over their gundagardi. Today, the Delhi Police and Election Commission are working even more aggressively than Bharatiya Janata Party. They have become campaign managers of Bharatiya Janata Party. That is why in the last 24 hours, we have seen that BJP is resorting to every possible tactics and the Election Commission and Delhi police are supporting them. They are trying to confiscate the voter IDs of the citizens of Delhi. They are marking inks on their fingers so that they cannot vote. And they are so restless because Arvind Kejriwal ji has promised 2100 per month to the women of Delhi, has promised the Sanjeevani Yojana, and these 15 guarantees which the Arvind Kejriwal has promised to the people of Delhi. They know that they have not been able to provide any facilities to the people of Delhi in last 10 years. They have no answers as to what they have done in the 22 states which they are ruling. They have no answers as to what's their accomplishment in the last 10 years. And you told about Jhuggi. They promised...
You know, BJP will say precisely the same. You know, when we make these arguments, there has to be some strong, answer to that. JVC, would you like to respond to the AAP spokesperson? Because he says the
my dear friend, Mr. Anmol Pawar, please understand that the promise that you gave 3 years back, that you would give 1,000 rupees to women in Punjab, you have not given a single paisa. Your promise is on water. It is not on stone. You gave 10 guarantees in 2020. Not a single guarantee has been fulfilled. BJP, on the contrary, giving money in Maharashtra, promised in Madhya Pradesh, delivered in Madhya Pradesh, promised in Chhattisgarh, delivered in Chhattisgarh. Odia, 50,000 rupees per year for women. Now, AAP will promise and will never deliver. BJP, if they promise, they would deliver. And that is what 100% people know. You can show posters. I can tell you on 8th, you will not even come to the studio.
Okay.
Because you are going to face a routing defeat.
You're going to face a routing defeat. Respond.
To गुंडागर्दी. ये गुंडा है ना जो तुम्हारा आप जिनका नाम अमित शाह है.
No, let's be.
You are a liar.
No,
you are a liar.
Mr. Pawar, this is not correct. This is not correct, Mr. Pawar. Let's not resort to name calling. They will call your leader all sorts of names, and this is not how we debate on this channel. I don't know if you're trying to do a PowerPoint presentation by bringing all those folders. You're only succeeding in covering your face as you've done in the past. Do you want to now respond to JVC's charges?
Pravesh Verma ke saath. And they are, see, the government have given us 5 years, and they are deliberately not talking about Delhi because people are asking, bhai, apna narrative batao, agenda batao, CM face batao, aaj tak nahi bata paaye. They have not been able to tell the people of Delhi as to what they have done in last 10 years. And that is why they are now taking people out of Delhi. They are confiscating the voter IDs and they are bribing and marking
Whose voter
on the
IDs has been
fingers so that
confiscated?
people of Delhi cannot vote.
Whose voter IDs has been confiscated, sir? Where?
अब आप जनता को ये बताइए. अब Sir, today our leader Arvind Kejriwal has met the Election Commission and has expressed concern over these illegal activities which are being carried out by the Bharatiya Janata Party in collusion with Delhi Police and Election Commission.
To respond. Illegal activities being carried out by the Bharatiya Janata Party in collusion with the Delhi Police, and he says Election Commission. Please respond. You made a point now. Let the BJP spokesperson respond.
Madhav, first of all, this is not the first time I've heard the derogatory term called Gunda. And if this Gunda cannot stop himself from using his words, please have the guts to throw him out of the show there and then. Because this is a decent debate. You can't have such words on your show. They have made all kinds of baseless allegations time and again, and they have been unfounded. They have cast aspersions on the Election Commission. Why can't they approach the Supreme Court? Do they not have faith in the Supreme Court? Go and approach the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will be happy to, probably listen to your court in the night. But to use such foul language and sick language just because they know this is the end game for AAP, they know that, these are anger elections. Last week I have traveled across Delhi and I can see I have sensed the anger on the street. These people are going to be wiped out in these elections.
All right, so you're going to lose these elections. That's why you're sounding so desperate. That's the charge coming in from the BJP. Of course, charges and counter charges are common, but this Delhi election is something completely different from what we've seen, at least in the national capital in the recent past. We'll have to leave it there. Tuin Siram, JVC Sriram, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Faizan Kidwai, Advocate Anmol Pawar. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. And in fact, Faizan Kidwai and Anmol Pawar will be leaving, and all our other three panelists will stay for debate number 2 as well.